What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Today is Monday, which means Monday Mail Day. Picked out a lot of good questions, so let me jump right into it. And we have some Errol Spence Jr. questions. First part is from Eric Shipman. Yo, Ego, what's your take on Errol Spence, his performance, and where does he fit in the current welterweight division with the retirement of Floyd Mayweather? And Jack C3D said, Ego, what's your assessment of Spence's last fight versus against Van Herdeen, whatever his name is? Did you see any holes or pick out any things that Spence could work on? His defense, offense, love this channel, peace. And then the last Spence question, GMO GFX. Ego, what do you think of Spence's last performance? Do you think he's ready for any contenders? P.S. He's now ranked number 12 in the welterweight division. So a lot of these questions are very similar. His last performance, he looked good. He did what he had to do, handle business. I really didn't know too much about Van Herdeen. I had seen him briefly on YouTube, I think, because they were talking about Kell Brook was possibly fighting him. So I did some research on Van Helsing or whatever his name is. And he got a lot of the comments and a lot of what was being said and what I seen. He seemed solid, not like a Pacquiao or world beater, but he seemed like a pretty solid. He got some pretty good marks on different things that I was seeing. So I like what Spence did. He got the stoppage, handled business. And how does he fit into the current welterweight division? I mean, I think he fits perfect. He looks like he keeps his body in good shape. He looks like he has the mental fortitude to be a champion and to work hard without, like, I haven't really seen him. He's been pretty active. I haven't seen him balloon up. So really, it's all about the next level and stepping up in competition, which is GMO's question is, do I think he's ready for contenders? Yeah, and I think he's been ready. I think he needs to, his team should really, Al Heyman or whoever, really should go after a name fighter in his next fight. I think that's what he needs. He needs to go with someone with some type of name, like a headlining event that's been televised on HBO, Showtime, that kind of person. Not just some guy that their name is real vague and people don't know him, like Van Herdeen and LaGreco and all that. I think he should fight like a Josecito Lopez, Devin Alexander versus Aaron Martinez winner. A guy like that, like somebody with a little bit of cred. Obviously I want to see him fight the Kell Brooks of the world and Keith Thurmans and Amir Khans, but those are considered more of the big dogs at this particular point in the welterweight division with Mayweather retiring. So, I mean, I don't think that's likely. And then you look at the top-ranked Pacquiao, Bradley side, I don't think those fights are likely. So, realistically speaking, I would like to see him fight just a step up with a bigger name, even like a Viktor Ortiz. If Viktor Ortiz comes focused, because at the very least, Viktor Ortiz, he's big, he's athletic, he has some power, some speed, and he's a southpaw, just like Errol Spence Jr. So just a name like that, and I will be happy. So that's my thoughts on Errol Spence. He did his thing. He keeps showing improving. He looks hungry, so we'll wait to see. Hopefully he gets a bigger step up in his next fight. Next question from Bradley Tucker. Hey, Ego, do you think it's very hypocritical for the boxing media and fans to attack Mayweather for calling himself TBE? Keep in mind, you don't hear anyone ripping Ali for calling himself the greatest, even though a lot of boxing experts say that Robinson and Lewis are better than him, and there are a lot of fighters that came before Ali that have better records. And also, do you think Rocky's 49-0 is a bit overrated because Chavez Jr. broke that record by a landslide? I really don't even like to get too much into this TBE talk because it's all subjective. It's just like I'm a fan of hip-hop music. So, to me, my favorite rapper ever is Tupac, but I have my reasons for it. I think he was multifaceted. He didn't have any one type of song. He would dare to be different and make a song like he had the Thug Life and those types of songs, but he would also make an introspective song like Keep Your Head Up or Dear Mama and stuff like that. He took gambles that a lot of other people in the rap game, if you're considered a hard artist or like a gritty artist, then a lot of those dudes, they just want to be hard 24/7, and they're not going to take those chances to make more of a melodramatic, slower song or dedicate a song to their mom or something. And I think Tupac made it cool. But on the other hand, there's other people who, let's say if you're from New York or East Coast, you might resonate more with Biggie or Nas. You know what I mean? You might like his flavor and what he was talking about, Jay-Z or Eminem or whoever the person is. So all these types of lists, like top 5 dead or alive rappers or TBE, they're all subjective. So I don't even really like to get into it too much. I think you're in a brutal business in boxing, in the fight game. So that being said, you have every right to be confident in yourself, because any hesitation, any lack of confidence or chink in your armor that your opponent sees, they will exploit and take advantage of you. So yeah, be confident. Mayweather's proven himself. He's beaten more world champions, like he says. He's been in the game 19 years, still undefeated, and it's against different styles. So if he wants to call himself that, that's his opinion. If you don't agree with it, then oh well, tough titty. You don't agree with it, that's cool. Ali is a great person. See, this is the thing. I'm a huge Muhammad Ali fan, but I think Ali gets, it's like him and Mayweather are almost reversed in terms of this. When it comes to pure boxing, Floyd Mayweather, I think he can be considered the best ever in terms of the sweet science, getting it down to such a formula where he makes fights with other people that generally put on hard fights or tough fights. He makes it look easy. He makes it look pretty flawless. Like, nobody that I've seen Pacquiao fight in the last 5-10 years has reduced him to landing 71 punches, but Mayweather did. You know what I mean? Canelo's knocking out bigger guys like James Kirkland, and Mayweather made him look like a schoolboy. So Mayweather, he knows boxing. He's very smart. His ring IQ is off the charts. And that, you know what I mean, that's kind of what it is. But I think why I said it's the reverse of Ali is I think Ali was a great fighter, but I think Ali also gets a lot of credit for things he did outside of the ring, and Mayweather gets a lot of hate for things that he does outside the ring. So it's almost like a flip-flop. If you talk about Floyd Mayweather in that square circle and what he can do, like physically, his abilities, his skill set, his mind, his ring IQ, ring generalship, his ability to make Canelo look trash, you know what I'm saying, things like that, then he's it's hard to beat, you know what I'm saying? But people factor in, oh, he burned money and he was talking shit about Ricky Hatton and it's disrespectful. And then that's the same thing with Ali. Ali was a great fighter, good defense, good speed, great heavyweight. And people also give him a lot of credit because he has legendary quotes, or he dodged the draft because of his religious beliefs. And he was just overall kind of like an icon and humanitarian. So people give Ali a ton of credit for that. You know what I mean? Because they're factoring, oh, he has pictures with the Beatles and Elvis, and he's just a legend. He's just so legendary and iconic in the sport that I think that gets factored into him being the greatest. Because he's like the greatest, probably the greatest person in boxing in terms of the whole package, having the charisma, the loud mouth, showing up in the ring and having a skill set. He was a fun heavyweight. He brought excitement. He was a showman. He has legendary quotes. He has very inspirational quotes and things, just stuff like that. So I think Mayweather and Ali are kind of the opposite ends of the spectrum, whereas Mayweather gets underappreciated and hated a lot because people factor in what he does outside the ring. Then you got Muhammad Ali, who is a great fighter, but he also took losses and stuff like that. And a lot of that gets overlooked based on the fact of how great of a person he was and how iconic of a person he was. So that's really my thing. The boxing media is the boxing media. They're always going to be biased and have their agendas and whatever. But that's my whole thing on the TBE. I'll let you guys figure out who you think is TBE and who isn't. I don't really like to entertain that because it's hard. There's weight divisions. You have different time periods. Like you said, Rocky Marciano, he has a 49-0 record, but like name all of those fighters he was fighting. Like, you know what I mean? Name the first 25 fighters. Like, name his 30th fight. You know what I mean? A lot of people aren't boxing historians like Burt Sugar, rest in peace. So they don't even know enough about boxing to know much about Rocky Marciano's wins. They just know him as a legend, and he's revered and regarded as a great fighter, a great heavyweight. So they just kind of run with that, and they don't really know. They never even watched a Rocky Marciano fight from start to finish. So a lot of the boxing media and fans be fake anyway. Anyway, next question is from Chris Jackson. Ego, if Andre Ward can't get Triple G fight, which fighter you think Andre Ward should fight next? In my opinion, Badou Jack. I mean, 2 performances where he was kind of the underdog, proved people wrong against George Groves, and then before that against Anthony Durrell, who was undefeated. I think a fight like that would be good. Plus, Badou Jack is the WBC champion. Other than that, I would love to see James DeGale if we're talking 168. If we're talking about if Ward is moving up, maybe take a tune-up or 2 at 175 and then fight Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev would be a good fight. So those are my 3 picks for who he should fight. Badou Jack, James DeGale, or Sergey Kovalev. And even maybe an Andre Durrell if he has like maybe 1 or 2 fights and looks good or something. I've always wanted to see Andre Ward and Andre Durrell, but I think they're friends, so I don't know if that would happen. But those are my picks for Andre Ward's next fight. Next question is from the main man. Who was the first fighter you got an exclusive interview with since launching your brand? How did it feel? Well, I can tell you how it felt. It felt amazing. It felt spectacular. Anytime you have the hard work and dedication to do something, you don't really... A lot of times it stems from a passion, so you don't even know what it's capable of. When I first started doing this, I don't even know what made me do it. I was just always been a fan of boxing. And I think Julio Cesar Chavez versus Sergio Martinez was coming up. I was really looking forward to it, so I just randomly did a fight prediction. And then it just got to the point where it was cool. The response was cool. People were like, do a video about this, talk about this fight, whatever was happening at that time. So I would do it. And they'd be like, talk about Canelo Josecito, and then the rest is history. So yeah, it felt great because you don't really know the potential until you start seeing some of the results after you work hard. But the first person, the exclusive, would be Jonathan Banks, actually. Heavyweight. He trains... He lost recently to, what's his name, Antonio Tarver, and he trains the Klitschko after Emmanuel Stewart passed away, rest in peace, to Manny. And it just felt good because he had just defeated Seth Mitchell. Damn, what happened to Seth Mitchell? But yeah, he had just defeated Seth Mitchell, and just hearing it, he was talking about the Klitschkos. It just felt good. It felt good that the hard work was actually becoming something. And just to hear from a fighter and get their insight and stuff. So shout out to Jonathan Banks. He was the one that gave the boy an opportunity. Actually, you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, it might have been Kareem Mayfield who gave. It was one. Oh man, I think I did. You know what? I did it the same day or something. It was something weird like that. But yeah, shout out to Kareem Mayfield, San Francisco. I see you, Filmo. But yeah, my dude from the Bay Area, Kareem Mayfield, he was fighting. He had a fight coming up, and we did an interview too. So shout out to the whole Bay Area. Next question is from Abraham Lopez. What's next for Leo Santa Cruz? After his fight with Matthysse, does it solidify him as a serious contender, or is there still doubt on his ability to box? Where do you rank him at? Tough question. I don't know if we're talking about featherweight, if we're talking about 122, but at featherweight, I mean, he has more to prove. You got guys like Lomachenko in the division. You got guys like Nicholas Walter. So, I mean, I can't rank him at the highest level, but it was a good start. Fighting and beating Abner Matthysse was a good start. In my personal opinion, and I said this before the fight, I think Abner Matthysse, I think he's been a little bit shook ever since the Johnny Gonzalez knockout, to me. Even though in the interviews he says, no, I'm fine, and he just hasn't looked exactly the same. Like, he was fighting on I think it was the Con Alexander undercard, and he was fighting just real wild and more aggressive, like he was trying to prove something. So, to me, Abner Matthysse hasn't been exactly the same. It's still a solid win, especially since that was Leo Santa Cruz's second fight at featherweight. So I give him a lot of props for it. And it was considered a 50-50 fight. So he gets all the credit in the world for it. I do think Abner Matthysse was a little bit shook ever since the Johnny Gonzalez knockout. Not to take too much away from Leo Santa Cruz, but he did his thing. He handled business, and he just has to keep doing that, showing and proving. I think a Gary Russell Jr. unification fight would be good. If he wants to fight Rigondeaux finally, anything like that. So he just has to keep paving his way, fighting the solid people. Johnny Gonzalez, like, I would probably entertain Johnny Gonzalez versus Leo Santa Cruz, even though he lost. I think he has a win since the Gary Russell loss. So anything like that. So it's not really a doubt of his ability to box. It's just more or less he has to just keep moving through the ranks. Next question, Punch Drunk Love. Lucas Matthysse versus Viktor Postol. If Lucas can get past Viktor, which in my view is no easy task given Postol has the advantage in height and reach and is the fresher fighter, do you think if Lucas is able to get past him, he could finally become a notable name worthy of getting big fights like Manny Pacquiao, Bradley, or other bigger names, possibly Crawford? Yeah, I think that should be the case. Matthysse is kind of one of those people who he's like a cult classic. He has a cult following. A lot of people like his fighting style and whatnot, but he doesn't often get the credit. Like you look at his early losses against, like Danny Garcia is probably his only like credible loss. You know what I mean? If you look at some of his other losses, like the Zab Judah, it was questionable. I thought Zab might have barely beat him, but it was very close. I'd have to watch it again. But I thought Lucas definitely beat Devin Alexander. But since they were fighting in Devin Alexander's hometown of St. Louis, Devin got the nod. But I thought Devin should have lost to Lucas Matthysse. So, I mean, he's kind of slept on in that regard. I think he's been banging on the door for something big. He got the Danny Garcia fight, came up a little bit short, but he showed the warrior spirit and didn't give up or anything. So that's what I like to see in that fight. And his eye was pretty bad from an early point in that particular fight. So even a rematch with that would be good. Don't know how likely since he's with Golden Boy and Danny's with Al Heyman. But yeah, I think he's been knocking on the door for a while, just kind of facing the guys, other people like a loose again, a Jose or whatnot. That was a guy who was a mandatory at 140, and he had like an awkward style. Other people weren't really trying to fight him, and then Matthysse did, and loose again was game, but he was getting dogged by Matthysse too. So yeah, hopefully he gets a bigger fight like Pacquiao. I love to see Bradley Rios winner, anything like that. I'm okay with all of those. Crawford, any of those. So yeah, hopefully he looks good, and if he does beat Viktor Postol, hopefully the winner is catapulted into a bigger fight. Next question, the jazz musician. Who is the future of the heavyweight division, Anthony Joshua or Deontay Wilder? Oh man, you guys are asking me some hard questions. I like them both, but I would maybe say Anthony Joshua. He's a little bit younger, and I like what he brings to the table. But Deontay Wilder is not someone I'm sleeping on. He looks hungry. He looks focused since becoming champion. He just, ever since he beat Stavern, his schedule's getting a little bit softer, but we'll see what he looks like against Duhaupas or whatever his name is, and hopefully he gets a bigger fight after that, like maybe Fury versus Klitschko winner. But that's a close one between the two. I think they both could carry the heavyweight division for some time. Deontay Wilder has like a good personality to be on camera and stuff. Plus, he's real big. But I like Anthony Joshua, what I'm seeing. I just got to see Anthony Joshua, his chin tested a little bit more. And it's just going to come with time. So I'd really have to answer that question a little bit later, because it's almost unfair at this point, because I have more data on Deontay Wilder than I do Anthony Joshua. But I think they both have promise to be near or at the top of the heavyweight division for a little while. And the next question is from Angel Barrientos. Do you think Mayweather's career is really over? No. In my opinion, I don't. I think between the money and him wanting to prove doubters wrong, he just has too many options for it to be over, in my opinion. I mean, I don't know if he really wants to go out with Berto his last fight. I think he would probably try to go out with the bang, or like a Pacquiao rematch, or I don't know. I don't know exactly what his game plan is. Maybe it's over, but in my opinion, since this is Monday Mail Days, I don't think it's over. I think he'll at least fight a 50th fight. And again, it's really the money, the lifestyle. He still has it in him. It's not like he got the shit beat out of him versus Berto. So it's not like he took a whole hell of a lot of punishment to the point where like Father Time is telling him to retire. The only thing is, I really think he should come back. If he's going to come back, he needs to come back next year. Because I don't think he should do what he did after the Hatton win, after he knocked out Hatton, and wait 21 months. That's almost 2 years. You know what I mean? And then at that point, at this age, 38, at an advanced age, your Father Time could really catch up to you, no matter how good you are. So if he's going to come back for a 50th fight, I think he needs to come back next year. Just, you know what I mean, take a little bit of time like he has. And then, like I said, he just has the doors wide open. He has so many options. He can go back to HBO. I'm sure they would work out a lucrative deal. Go back to Showtime. It's just the options are wide open. It's a wide open field for him. And the last question is from King Kawane. Ego, can you name 5 fighters that you think will take over boxing post Mayweather? Another difficult question. And that's difficult because take over, I'm not sure just from reading that if you mean like a pay-per-view blockbuster star or just a skill set point of view. So I'm just going to take a shot in the dark and answer in the best way possible. I think Canelo, Triple G, Errol Spence Jr., Kell Brook, and the 5th one, I'm going to say Keith Thurman, Rigondeaux, or Lomachenko. Like those, I really have to, I don't know who I would put, but time will reveal. I think one of those dudes could take over, and I think that's a pretty solid list. And that's for different reasons. Some people already have the star power now, and if they continue winning, like the Triple Gs, then their star power will grow. Guys like Canelo already has a good fan base. He's done a lot at his age. He's still young. He's still like, what is he, 25 or something like that. He's accomplished a lot, stepping foot in there with Mayweather, been in there with Laura, despite the outcome, whatever you think happened in those fights. Errol Spence Jr., as I said earlier in this video, he's moving through the ranks. It's just all this stuff is going to come with time. That's the best way to put it. Time reveals all, and I think between skill set and box office star power and stuff like that, I think all those guys have a chance to be kind of the successor of Floyd Mayweather in terms of just skills and just the whole package. You know what I mean? Like who could be a draw. Pacquiao and Cotto, they're kind of nearing the end of their career. That's why I didn't put them. So if we're talking about kind of the 5 fighters that could take over that haven't already taken over, I would say probably those guys. Maybe even a Danny Garcia, maybe, possibly Felix Verdejo. I mean, there's a ton of guys. It's really hard to narrow it down to 5, but that's my best. I tried my best to narrow it down. Make sure you like my video. Let me know how I did. As always, hate, comment, and subscribe. Till next video, is Ego signing off.